All right, good evening. My name is Don Ficken. I'm with the Library Telescope program, and we are excited to bring you another episode of our regular webinars. We've been doing this for quite a long time. This is actually our 51st webinar. And if you happen to go to librarytelescope.org and go to the front page, you can actually watch some of the webinars we've had in the past. We've done everything from how to navigate the night sky to talking with libraries, which is what we're doing tonight, actually talking to a library and a patron about a library. It's in Valley Stream, New York. So we'll be talking tonight about what the Library Telescope program is. If you're not familiar with that, we'll just give you a brief background of what we do, and we'll be interviewing, I guess, the director, I believe, of the library, and she'll tell us a little bit about the things that went through her head and what she's experienced when she got started. And of course, we got to ask from a patron, right? So we got Kat here with us tonight that will tell us, like, hey, here's what I experienced, and that's really fun. And of course, we want to call to action. We want you to go out and think about starting a program in your library if you're not involved in one today, or have one at your library. And if you're maybe an ambassador or somebody who wants to volunteer, we'd love to get you to do that. So we will be taking some questions at the end. This program's a fairly short program. We only typically do the whole thing about 30 minutes or so. So if you can post your questions into Facebook, if you're on Facebook, and we have a few people on Zoom here, post those into the chat area. We'll try to address those at the end, but mostly let's just have some fun here tonight. And by the way, that's a great moonshot, which is actually taken with through the eyepiece of a library telescope. So first off, what is the Library Telescope program? Well, I wish I was smart enough to think up the original idea, but I was not. And it's really where you can check out a telescope from just like a book from a library. Of course, it's not a book, it's a telescope. So it's a kind of a new thing for a lot of libraries to deal in what's called Library of Things. And we are a 501c3. We incorporated late last year. And so we are trying to do this worldwide. And our mission is really just to foster science and stimulate interest in astronomy. And I love it because it gets families involved and it gets children involved, and you can tie it into science and math and STEM and art and all kinds of cool stuff. And what's really cool about this, if you watch the children, this is actually a photo from my town where two young boys are looking through the telescope. It's really easy to use. I mean, it's just a matter of a couple of minutes, you can be up and running. In fact, I sometimes will take it out for 5 minutes and go back in and be ready for supper. And I've looked at two objects, which is kind of cool if you think about it, really. Okay. There is a world map. If you go to librarytelescope.org, you can look at the world and you can literally drill down into Canada or the US, go down to state or province, or go to Europe. We've even had recently someone from library in South Korea register with us. So these are the only locations that we know. There could be more. People have to register if they happen to have the program. And so we're really trying to bring that together and get a much more robust world map. But it's very cool, really, to be able to do that. So if you go to like a particular state, just drill down and it'll list the libraries that we think are registered basically with us to have the program. So there are a couple parts if you're thinking about it. You probably want to launch the program. It might be just a bit scary to do that. Like, I don't know anything about telescopes. I don't know anything about Library of Things, if you will. We have trained ambassadors that are experienced that can help you through that. We have, in just a few months, and actually about the first week of October, you'll be able to have a telescope shipped to you that's ready to go. The pre-order system will go up in just about 2 weeks here, and you'll be able to pre-order these telescopes. They're really cool. We've actually helped them custom build the telescope. And then there's probably some special policies and procedures, since this is not a book, it's something else. And of course, you need to get your staff trained and you need to think about your marketing components. Well, we've done a couple of these things, so we can sort of help you through that. And of course, once you get your program going, you've got to make sure that the thing works all the time. So we've got a lot of experience with that too. And you want to have stargazing parties, which is really a lot of fun. You go out, even in an urban area where there's a lot of light pollution, you can still look at the moon and the planets and sometimes a few stars. And it's for a person that's never looked through a telescope, they are really excited about that stuff. And of course, we want to talk about how to probably check things in and out with staff. And my library here in St. Louis, where I live, we've actually had sometimes as many as 300 people on the wait list. And that's not been that long ago, actually. So lots of stuff going on there. Program launch and program maintenance, both things to consider. So you might say, I'm a librarian. I don't even know why I really want to do this. And so first off, it really expands your offering beyond books. It's something that It's attractive to people. Most people don't have access to a telescope, which is that's really kind of cool, especially a user-friendly version of it. But also, I think it brings people into the library. They hear about some star event, they want to look through a telescope. You get more foot traffic into the library. You can get new patrons to come to the library for the first time. They're saying, "Wow, you guys are really thinking outside the box. Not just books anymore. You have a telescope, for heaven's sakes." And of course, to me personally, I like the fact this is educational. It is fun, don't get me wrong. But when you do live science, it's better than looking at a picture that maybe Webb telescope is taking a picture of. This is real life, and this is everything from weather and things like that. So these are really user-friendly telescopes. And again, I think just lean on us if you're not sure what to do. We have a lot of experienced volunteers to really help. So with that, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes here. You didn't want to really hear me tonight, but I did want to talk a little bit about this. So we have the director of this beautiful library, Henry Waldinger Memorial Library. We have Mamie Eng, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about some of the cool stuff that she's been thinking about, or she thought about, or maybe the scary stuff that she thought about when she first started. So first, tell me a little bit about your library and your patrons and what your role is, if you can start with that.
Okay, so good evening. The Henry Waldinger Memorial Library is located in the village of Valley Stream. We're on Long Island, right outside of New York City. We serve a population of over 42,000 people.
Wow.
Yes, it's a middle class community. It's become very culturally diverse. In the last 2 decades, we've had an increase in Central American, Muslim, and Indian populations. Um, but we are a very small library, small to medium. And since COVID, we've had to scale back our hours. So we're only open 6 days a week now. Um, because we are funded by our municipality, we cannot raise taxes.
Mm,
So of all the libraries in Nassau County, we are the lowest per capita supported library. But
mm.
we try our best to offer all these services. And my role is to try to juggle the monies and get services to meet the needs of the community. So we only have one telescope, and
Oh,
right
okay.
now it has been sufficient for our demand.
Okay. And has it been checked out pretty regularly?
It's been checked out. I have to say, when we talk about the programming spurs out the checking out. Okay.
Yeah, I found that personally too. Is
Yes.
that whenever we have a star party, by gosh, they'll go out and check them out like crazy, and then you can't get them for a couple months here. But that's really, really cool. Well, around here too, we've had so many clouds. I don't know about you guys, but it's like, wow, it's like every time you buy a telescope, there's clouds out there. You can't even use the darn thing, right? So what? So let me ask you, why did your library decide to launch a program?
Well, about 2 years ago, there was an opportunity for us to get a technology grant from the system. And I had seen that other neighboring libraries had a telescope. So I said, well, let's see if we can do it. And I contacted some of the other libraries, and they put me in touch of with Tom Lynch from the Amateur Observer Society of New York. And I
Yeah,
believe
I see him
he's
in that photo right there. He's been a
right.
terrific supporter. I guess I didn't realize he was part of this particular library. I would have got him on here tonight or something. This is really cool. He's a great guy. He's been important and supportive for us for a long time.
He's been really great, and he gave me advice and spoke about it. He gave us some suggestions of what we should purchase. And then I told him, okay, now we'll proceed with the program if we get the grant. And he said, wait a minute. He looked into this because of the society that he belongs to, and he was able to get us a telescope. It was donated by his society through the Astronomical League and the Horkheimer Foundation.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a very, very big
So,
foundation with supporting the Astronomical League, right?
yes. So that was great because then I didn't have to worry about the grants. And and then from our own budget, we were able to purchase all the other things that he asked me to get, the guides, the star constellation books. And that was, we wanted to have the full package for the people.
Right. All right. So I got to ask you, you're a librarian. Were you experienced with telescopes before you got this?
Absolutely not.
All right. So was it kind of scary for you a little bit? Like, okay, what are we getting ourselves into, kind of thing?
No, I felt that if other libraries could do it, then I could do it.
Oh, you're a trooper. That's really really good. Yeah.
And and I know that Tom has made himself available many times, and his friend colleague Bill, and they have done which have been great, the instructional classes for the people. He has done what he calls a telescope at the door. So even when we don't have a class, he'll bring his telescope, our telescope, and people who right to let me see, right where that entrance is, he'll set the telescopes up at a table at nighttime. So anyone who's coming into the library gets to see the telescope and use it right there.
Yeah, I love it when they walk by and they go, "What are you doing?" And they're saying, "What are you looking at?" And then it's really
Yeah.
fun because they really kind of hang around. It's kind of fun. All right, so I'm sure that you had some concerns about this when you started. So what challenges did you actually face when you got started? Like, okay, that wasn't expected. What happened? So anything like that go on?
Well, the biggest challenge was trying to set up policies. And I wish I had known about your organization because my library board was so concerned about the telescope. It is, quote, expensive. They wanted to set it like a fine of $100 for being late.
Oh
And
yeah,
Tom talked us down. He
yeah,
said that if you had that kind of fine, then people would just not bring it back. So we brought it all the way down to $10 because
okay, there
a
you go.
little bit more reasonable. And so if you're a day late, and a lot of times we can waive it, if there's a real reason why it's late. But putting down the fine was going to be $100, $50. It was just a turn off. So that would be immediate reason why everyone would be afraid to take out the telescope.
Yeah, that's really good to know. So I know that when I've talked with Tom before, I think it was pretty much him and maybe another colleague that kind of supported you. But that's been a really important part, right? That somebody would actually kind of make sure that things are kind of working okay and that you understood what to do,
Yes.
right?
He comes and does a maintenance check like twice a year. He's been very supportive. Um, and I know that last year he was very involved with the solar eclipse. So
Yeah, we all were
and
maybe a little bit
he
too much
warned
of
us
it.
not to use the telescope for the solar eclipse.
That's good advice.
But he's been a font of good information, and I think that has been the success of the program. It's because we have had such a wonderful volunteer, and Bill has been very helpful too. I wish we could clone him.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's always good for a lot of us like that. So how has your library actually promoted the program? Is this you hold out a sign? Guess what? You can get a telescope here. I don't know what. How do you do it?
Well, we have our instructional programs from time to time. We advertise the demos. We have a digital newsletter, and every month, I mean every issue, we talk about it. Um, and we have the posts on Facebook and Instagram. Those are the big things. We Sometimes the children's librarian will bring it up to the children, but she tends to have younger kids, so it's the older kids may not be as interested. We're getting more of the teens more interested in
Oh, really?
activities. So
Huh.
the children, yeah. So we things come and go. During COVID, we lost a lot of our teen population that
Oh,
come to use the library, you know, and we're seeing a little upsurge now.
oh.
So that's something that we can try to promote the teens to do.
So I want to ask you this question because it's kind of always surprised me. In St. Louis, I actually do a lot of work at the libraries, but also at the Gateway Arch, and I get people from all over the world to look at a library telescope. And the way that they describe this is they're not checking it out, they're renting it. Now,
No,
it's not renting it, but like, oh yeah, do you know you could rent this thing from your library? I go, well, it's not actually a rent. But okay, well, that's fine. Whatever, we'll go with that, right? But is that what they say on yours? That they want to, is they check it out or rent it? I mean, I'm just gonna,
no, it's checking out
all right, that's
because
cool.
we don't collect
You
fees for
guys are the
anything.
sane one. You guys are the sane ones though, because I can understand how you can say, and this is from all over the world. Oh my gosh, you could rent a telescope. I go, well, it's not actually cost you anything. So anyway.
Yeah,
All right, so let me ask you this last question here. So we want to get on to hear what Cat has to say, right? So would you recommend this for other libraries to get started in this program?
absolutely. It is important to have someone who give technical advice and make presentations, but we've gotten other people involved. One of our missions is to try to expand the library base, and traditionally the library has been for kids. And you have a lot of females, senior citizens, and this is we've seen some younger um, I don't know what they call now, Gen Z, whatever, people express interest. You know, they're more able to come in or interested in different things besides the traditional books. So I was very pleased to see that.
Well, maybe that's great. And shout out to Tom Lynch, who's not here tonight, for the work that he's done, the great work. So I'm going to turn this now over to Kayla and Kat. I'll spotlight you guys. And
Fantastic.
yeah, very good. So you guys go get started here so I get my little stuff here. Okay, cool.
Sounds good. Well, hello everyone. I'm Kayla Schmidt with the Library Telescope program as a volunteer. And I have the pleasure tonight of getting a different perspective. So we've talked with Mamie about the library's perspective, but honestly, when I saw the video that Kat Natoli took of her using the library telescope, that's what spun me up to reach out and express interest in learning more from not only her, but the library's perspective. So welcome tonight, Kat. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So I'm really curious, how did you learn about, as a patron, the library telescope program and that you could even check out such a telescope?
So two ways, actually. The first way is our library is great. We love Mamie. We talk to her about everything. She's the best. We're also good friends with the children's librarian. So anything new that happens, we try to stay interested in all that. And we probably visit the library about once a week. It's right next to our train station. So I come home from work, my husband will walk over, we'll walk to the library and walk home. So it's very conveniently located. And we were there one day, and I don't remember which of the two men was there, but someone from the League on Long Island was there showcasing that they were now going to have this telescope and everyone could come check it out, not rent it, from the library. And so we started talking to him, and my husband's very interested in astronomy. So it was just very cool to hear about it and see that we could do this. And then we kind of forgot about it for a little bit. We knew it would happen. And I actually saw one of the newsletters come out in my email, and it was like a nice week. And the weather had been great. And I was like, you know what? I have a few days off. Let's try it. And that's how we decided to just rent it that week and have fun.
Oh, I'm so glad your whole family participated.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
like a really great family activity, and you got some good weather to do so. And the thing that I'm curious about, because I mean, even as a patron, I may be a little nervous to rent something or check something out that you haven't used before. So what was your experience like? Was it good, bad, scary, or like how did you maneuver using the telescope for the first time?
So it's interesting. I'd say overall, it was pretty good. And Mamie gave us a lot of tips on what past patrons had trouble with and what to do. So it
Okay.
comes with this nice little booklet that has instructions. And I loved that they mentioned there's a little map of the telescope that says, hey, we've glued this shut. Don't even worry about that. Look through here, do this. They really made it pretty simple. And I work I'm a gemologist, so I work with a microscope every day. So I was like, oh, I've got a telescope, no problem. And then we got it, and I was looking in the wrong end for a good 5 minutes. So we YouTubed, we figured it out. And once we got it, it was a lot of fun, and we figured it out. But yeah, we thought it would be more challenging. It took us a little bit of time, but overall, it was very easy to figure out once we got our bearings.
That's fantastic. Well, thinking about resources from a patron's perspective, it sounds like the map of the telescope and the booklet were helpful. Is there anything else that, from your perspective, that you might suggest that we would create that would support the patrons in checking out or using the telescope for the first time?
The only thing I could think of is that I really liked having the representative there. Having someone there from the society it just made a human there instead of just knowing there's a telescope. It can be very intimidating, and it is a tricky thing. So it was
Okay.
helpful that Mamie gave us tips, but I wouldn't even know to ask her necessarily about it or to feel comfortable talking about it. So to have someone there that's really into it, and even when we were there, he's talking to little kids, he was talking to teenagers, he was talking to other adults like us. So that was really helpful to get interest in. He reassured us that this was easy and anyone could do it, and it was a lot of fun.
Fantastic. So what was your favorite thing that you viewed when you were using the library telescope?
So we really like the moon is the easiest thing to see, and you don't get to see it up close. So that was really, really cool. We did one thing I will say, we downloaded the Night Sky app on our iPhones just to see like what we should try to keep an eye out for. And
Yeah.
it was a pretty clear night, but also in Long Island, we don't have the best, we have a lot of ambient light. We're right near a baseball field, so the moon was the easiest to see. Anyone could see it. And we tried to go for some larger stars and planets and things like that. And as amateurs, we did our best. And we could see like twinkling and some interesting things. It was cool. But the craters on the moon and like it was
Oh, yeah.
just that was a really fun thing to see.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, so what about the video? How did you produce the video? I understand there maybe was a
All right.
small story
So
behind that with a filmmaker in the family.
yeah, so to be honest, that my husband is glaring at me from the couch over here. That was all him. He
All right, we're
he
giving
makes
him
movies on the side. Yeah, he did, but good job, Anthony. He did a really nice job, and he makes videos for a living. He does that all the time, and he loves astronomy, and he's the one who really got us excited about this. And I should mention too, we made the video, and our two teenage neighbors, two girls, came home as we were doing it, and they never come over and talk to us. They're they say hi, they're polite, and they came over and was like, "Is that a telescope?" And they came in and they wanted to see everything, so they got really excited about it. Then he was taking videos and sharing it with them, so it got everyone really interested. We have a lot of kids on our block, so it was cool to see that too.
Okay, I predict a star party in your future for the block
Yeah,
party, star party. And if you'll relay this to your husband, if he takes more videos, please let us know. We'd love to post those out.
you hear that?
People using the library telescope and just again some amazing images and things that you're having. If he decides he wants to do some more of that type of videography, we would love to see it as well and share. So just
You
encourage him
got
to
it.
do
We'll take
that.
it out again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I predict a future party in your plans.
There you go.
Um, the last thing I just wanted to ask you, and I think I know the answer, but in all fairness, give you a chance to answer it. Will you check out the library telescope again?
Absolutely. It was so fun. We would definitely do it again, and we'd get the rest of the neighborhood kids involved next time.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you taking time to share your perspective. How you learned about it was really helpful information for us to know. It sounds like, again, Mamie and the library are doing a fantastic job in collaboration with the Astronomy Society there that supports them. And Tom Lynch, I believe is his name that you mentioned multiple times. So we give him a shout out as well, even though he wasn't able to join us today. But that's great. I think, Don, we can talk a little bit about some of our call to actions now, if you want to share those slides
Yeah,
again.
sure. Hang on, let me just
Um,
undo a few things here so that I'm doing everything
and
properly.
while I'm doing that, again, thank you to Mamie Eng. Fantastic. So proud of your success, your leadership, really, in STEM and access to your community. You should be very proud of that. And Kat, thank you again for being the patron who really helped us see it from a different perspective and um, really encouraged, I think, families to, try putting the devices down and going outside. Although you need the device later for the recording, it's fun to, go out and look up and see the world, amazing as it may be through the telescope. So we are to a point where we can take some live questions and answers if there's anybody that has that today. And then if not, there's a couple ideas here from a call to action. I think, Don, that may be on our previous slide. If you don't mind going
Oh
back to
yeah,
that.
sure. Absolutely. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no worries.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, I'll just mention this because, again, somebody may be listening to this later, and we hope they do. So if you want to, Mimi talked a lot about having that volunteer, and Kat even mentioned it when she was in the library, that these types of people can help guide you. And we do have people that are volunteers that can help you start, manage, maintain these types of programs. And that email is there for you if you want to, if you're ready to think about this and want to reach out and get some coaching and guidance. The program launch at librarytelescope.org email is there, and we're ready to have that conversation and support you through that process. I always encourage people to follow us on Facebook for great events like this, but also to learn new things and to hear from other libraries, patrons, and people that are doing some really amazing things and looking up and reaching for those stars. If you want to sign up for emails, you can do that on our website as well as register. If you're a library today that says, hey, wait a minute, we have a program. If you also like to be featured in a webinar, just let us know and reach out. But please make sure you're registered so we can make sure that people know how to reach you. And last but not least, we're always looking for volunteers. And then the process behind that is there's a lot of different opportunities. And so we'll take into consideration how much time you want to give and what your area of interest is, and really match you with a volunteer position that really helps continue to promote the mission of the Library Telescope program. And last but not least, if you have the means and you so desire, you can help us ultimately support giving grants away to libraries. So as Mamie mentioned earlier, she was going for a technology grant. At some point when we reach a certain level of funding, we're in the early donation phases and collecting funding from those people who want to sponsor and be a part of this exciting journey. But we do encourage you to do that, and you can do that also on our website. So those are just a few things to get involved and show your support for the program, everywhere from starting one to supporting one from a financial donation perspective. So that's it. Let's see if we have any questions, and if not, we'll conclude our call today. But it's been fantastic, again, getting to know more about the library's perspective and the patrons' perspective, and how it is benefiting them and the community.
And by the way, a popular thing around here is when Halloween comes up, we like to put a telescope out there. The little kids can look through the telescope as they get their candy.
Aw.
You know, look, oh, that's like, wow. You just got to make sure that they look at it before they get their candy, right? Instead of after they get their candy, because it could be sticky hands, right? So
That's
they
a
are so
fantastic
surprised
idea.
about that, right? That's fun.
Okay, don't tell me your Halloween costume is going to be coming as a telescope, but I like that
No,
idea.
no, yeah, actually, yeah, it's fun to see that because they're so shocked, they're expecting just something else there, and they get to see something. And
Oh, that's
anyway,
true.
that's
I
that's
like
fun.
the idea of having them right out front of the library, because talk about a magnet of attraction, bring you right in
Right,
to
right.
not only do the telescope checkout, but I'm sure there's a lot of other wonderful books and things to also see within the library. Well, that's it, Don. We're almost at time, and I don't see any questions at this point in time that are live for us, but I think we can call it a wrap. And again, thank you to Mamie and thank you to Kat for being part of the Library Telescope program and sharing your experiences and expertise. It's been wonderful to meet you both, and we wish you continued success. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you for
all.
having us.
Yeah, thank you too, Kayla.
My pleasure. Thanks, Don.
Yeah,
Bye,
bye-bye.
Kat. Bye, Mimi. Bye, Don.
Bye.